Morning, guys and gals. I have a bit of a different stream for you today, and this is going to be a short one. If this is good for people and everyone likes it, I will consider doing another one in the future. But this is going to basically be a finances stream. And I don't mean I'm going to come on here and beg for money. That's not what I'm doing when I say financing. We're going to talk finances. This very first one's going to be relatively short compared to some of my 5-hour streams, but I just wanted to sit everyone down for a minute and discuss finances in the best way that I know how. And I think the best way that I know how is to simply discuss finances, just blatantly discuss. So let's make sure the sound is working. Discuss. So let's make sure the sound is working. Discuss. So let's make sure the sound is working. Discuss. So let's make sure the sound is working. Discuss. So let's make sure the sound is working. Stupid me. I should. So let's make sure the sound is working. Stupid man. I should. Let's make sure the sound is working. Stupid man. Hear me. Let's make sure the sound is working. Stupid man. Hear me. Let's make sure the sound is working. Stupid man. Hear me. Let's make sure the sound is working. Stupid man. Hear me. Let's make sure the sound is working. Stupid man. Hear me. Let's find my life. Stupid man. Hear me. Let's find my life. Stupid man. Hear me. Let's find my life. Stupid man. Hear me. All right. So here's the thing. Uh, First of all, welcome to my stream. I don't uh I don't really see anyone, but I intend to upload this. I have a friend that uploads YouTubes for me to kind of help get the word out. So let's make it very clear. This is going to include some math and some common sense, and this is going to be very invasive in my own personal life because I'm going to throw some numbers out there and I'm going to try to give y'all some examples while I'm doing like I'm actually going to sit here and try to do my finances, and then I'm going to kind of explain how 1 weeks of finances work. And then while I'm explaining how 1 week of finances work, I'm hoping that helps people. Like, because the school's not doing this. Not high school, not college. If you're not paying for the class, you're probably not getting this kind of information. And without doxing myself to people, I think it's okay to like express my income. I am going to fudge the numbers a little bit so people can't figure out exactly where I'm working. Um, but I'm going to fudge the bills at the same rate. That way, no one can quite figure out. I don't want someone to go, if he's making this much money per week, he has to be working at one of these places. So let's not do that. Hi, how are you? Good to see you again. Good. I know. I'm to be honest, I'm actually relating your name to my aunt because I have an aunt named Teresa and it looks very similar when I read it. Okay. You don't have to expose that on stream though if you don't want to, but I do appreciate it. Okay. Today I figured I wanted to do a finance video to kind of help people with income because like I'm struggling, but I know that I'm struggling because of the economy. So I figured other people that make less than me have to be struggling worse, and I thought I would kind of like explain how why the struggle happens. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but that's why we're here. So I'm going to start by opening my bank account and taking a quick look at what my income is sitting at right this minute and what my total amount of money is. Okay. So let's say that I'm well off. Okay, we're gonna play some pretend today. Um, let's say that this week I made $1,119, and let's give me 14 cents. Let's just give me some change on the side. Let's say that I made that. Um, okay, like I am adjusting these numbers very carefully to keep myself from being out. It could be higher, could be lower, wanting to maintain a little vagueness. But for the sake of brevity and mathematics, let's say that that's what I made as my income for 1 week. Okay? Um, so you can write that down on a piece of paper if anyone's trying to follow along. I assume the majority of people will be watching this in like a rerun or on YouTube. Uh, I have Toricia here, being adorable and supportive. Um, being that they make avatars, they're probably financially well off, but you can make a lot of money and still be broke. So let's go through this, and everyone at home, let's see if you can catch what happens and why people are broke. Okay, so let's say I have $1,119.14. Let's not assume anything was already in the bank. Okay, so we're starting with zero. We got $119.14, and that was a 1 week income. All right, well, today is the 14th, right? Today is the 14th. It is May 14th. So let's take a look at the calendar. All right. And we see that today is Thursday. All right. So let's say that we get paid on Thursdays. A lot of people get paid on Fridays. Let's say I get paid on Thursdays. Because quite frankly, I do. I get paid Wednesday night at midnight. That has nothing to do with brevity or hiding my identity or anything. So many people do that. But if you get paid a day early, you're also broke a day early. You still have to go an entire 7 days before you get your next paycheck. So while they're advertising, "Ooh, you get paid a day early," you still have to go the same number of days. It doesn't do anything but shift the day that you can pay your bills. Now, in that way, I suggest getting paid a day early because Thursday and Friday gives you 2 days to contact companies that are closed on Saturday and Sunday. But other than that, it doesn't really matter if you get paid Thursdays or Fridays. Hi, Zoxy. Welcome back. I know you were going MIA. Wasn't expecting to see you, but happy to have you. We're going to be doing a little mathematical lesson for some of the viewers, just in case it helps. Um, so we see that today is Thursday, and we assume that I just got paid today. That means we have from the 14th to the 21st with $1,119.14. Now, what we have to do in order to ensure that we are making bank is we have to look at our known income and see what bills we have on this one paycheck. Um, so let's just assume that I have progressive. Let's assume I have progressive. We're going to call it progressive. Um, and I have it written down that they would be on the 13th, but I have to be extremely honest. I don't think my auto insurance company is charging me on the 13th. Um, I also can't seem to log into the app for my specific auto insurance company. So let me find them on the phone that still has all of my apps before it slowly stops working due to non-payment. Um, okay, so let's look at billing. Let's look at payment schedule. Okay, the next one is 6/12. Are we on the 6th month? January, February, March, April, May. No. Okay, so we don't have anything right now from them, and we're gonna say we're gonna change it from. I have it written down as the 13th. We're gonna change that, and we're gonna document the financial change and how much due to a vehicular loss. So we do not have to pay rent from this income, this paycheck. We do not have to pay, we're going to call them progressive. It seems that a dental place will be taking money out um, on the 20th. We'll call it the 20th. Um, our phone payment comes out on the 10th. So that's not on this check. Uh, my internet doesn't come out on this one. Um, one of my bills is on the 25th. That doesn't come out on this one. And I have a ongoing bill on the 22nd, which is just outside of this payment. Because again, this week goes from the 14th to the 21st. So I have no bills at the moment. However, keep keep a keen eye here, ladies and gentlemen. Just because we don't have anything going on here does not mean that we are in the free to put a whole $1,000 in our pocket, right? So what happens next is we have to think about anything else that may be forgotten. So I said I don't have to pay rent. Did I mention water? Did I mention electric? Did I mention sewer? Did I mention automobile repairs? Did I mention any of these? No, I didn't. Some of these are random, some of these are not random. But I do have to pay for my electric and I have to pay food. Um, so let's take a good look at what has already come out since I got paid at midnight. Okay. It actually looks like, oh, yep, no, okay. So I had to pay, the landlord charged me $107 through Cash App in order to power wash my own house, which he owns. He charged me $107 to power wash his own house. Yeah, gotta love that. So I had to pay him $107 to power wash, and I had to pay someone $70 to cut the grass, because that's required by my landlord. And then I paid for food because I like to eat. And let's say I paid child support because, of course, I had to pay child support. So what I did was I went ahead and transferred, let's say, $300 to Cash App to pay off these people. Okay, so we're just gonna write a full $300 off for Cash App. And we're gonna write various bills because these are bills that had to be paid. Any extra, if you're looking at, well, how come that's not exactly $300? Cash App has a savings thing, and the extra went into a savings app on Cash App. And one day, when I have enough in my Cash App and I decide that I am doing good, I will commission a avatar. Won't be right this minute, but when I do, I'll have the money. Um, let's see. So just for the sake of being forthright about the math, what I had left was 13 bucks, and I moved that to Cash App savings. I only saved $13 when I paid these bills, but I charged myself a flat 300 and then saved money because I was spending. I already had to spend the money, so now I'm saving money because I had to spend it anyway. So here we are with me saving money in the process, and everything that's left is what's left. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Um, because it made me a few dollars. Dad jokes, dad jokes everywhere. Okay, let me re-sign into my bank real quick so that I can get the numbers. Okay, so after we removed $300, okay, I also bought groceries, and I'm not even gonna fudge this one. Groceries costed me $376.96. Okay, that was groceries. Usually I live a lot cheaper than that. But I hadn't bought groceries in several weeks, and we are living a little on the poor side. I like to give a little extra money here and there for some extra meat in our diet. So I bought a couple of things of meat, and I did invest in a couple of remote controls for these for these TVs because every TV and monitor in the house all work with the same remote. And it's hell trying to control one TV for Vixen and then me trying to do VTubing or gaming for Twitch, or maybe we're trying to watch things together and we just can't find one remote. We're like, we have six of the same damn remote and they're this small and we can't find them. So I did invest a little bit in the household. It wasn't entirely food that we were going to starve if we didn't have. Um, Not that I feel that I have to justify myself to anyone, but I did spend more than I had to, and let's do the math and see what's left after doing so. Okay, so if we start with 119, no, 1,119 and 14 cents. That's what I said. I wrote that down. Okay, and then we take out 300 for the randomly occurring bills. Okay, and then we take out $376.96 for groceries. It shows that we have $442.18. Okay. Now, what I am seeing that comes up on the 20th, let's say that bill comes out, it's 214. Does that sound good? Yeah, let's say 214.28. Is that 28 or 29? Yeah, no, let's call it 29. Because we're every cent counts, but we're going to overcalculate just a little bit here. I don't want people figuring out exactly what my bills are. Okay. So now we're going to subtract $214.29, and what we are left with, ladies and gents, is $227.89 for the entire week. Now that is not a lot of money. So how do you know what else you can do with that money? Well, I don't. All right. Let's uh let's acknowledge the fact that I said I need to pay electric, but no one heard how much I had to pay. My electric is pay as you go, and I have to go onto the website and load the money in. Uh, I haven't even considered gas for my car yet. No. Um, but let me find the electric company. I mean, you think I would have it in a tab, um, but things just don't tend to work out for me that way. Um, because at one point in time, I'm sure I had it in a tab, and it's just like no. I have a lot of Eternos on here. And I have a lot of Twitch streaming, and Discord. Mm, yeah, you think that this okay? Insert generic name of electrical company here. Oh, they want my account number and user ID. Oh fuck, I don't have that. Why do I not have that? I don't have that because I'm stupid. Okay. Um, I feel like they had to know that I'm running out of money on the pay as you go. So it's like, okay. All right. So that's the account number. I have that. All right. Let's put that in. Let's try let's try a password. Okay, forgot password. We're gonna do a forgot password because of course we're going to. Now I don't know my phone number. Because I don't call this number. It's mine. Um, shit. Uh, okay. Um, okay. Click here to return to the portal. All right, and I really appreciate everyone sticking with me here. Because the math will show you a stark thing, a very stark thing. I only had one real bill this month. I mean this week, and that's the electric. Everything else is stuff that kind of has to be paid, but like they come and go at random. Um, okay, hold on now, stupid phone. Okay. Uh, okay. Okay, so let me sign in finally. Um, I think I hate that this is scrub. Okay. Now I can put in as much money as I want, but if I look at my bill, um, it looks like for 30 days I used $98. Okay, so if I put $60 in, that should at least get me to my next paycheck. So let's do that. Let's pay just 60. We're gonna do minus 60 from the amount of money that we have on this paycheck. Um, okay, and we're gonna go to a paying function. Okay, we're gonna hit that pay thing. Of course, it's gonna ask me to log back in again. God, freaking dang it! Why wouldn't it, right? Like if people are trying to pay my bill, why are we preventing them? Let them log in as me and pay my bill. We can't not pay. So okay. It's not like you could take money out of my account. So okay. Let's put in $55. Okay. Yeah. So for a total payment of $55, um I don't know what that card is. 0165. 0165. The hell is that? Okay. All right. That's an active card. Okay. So we're going to do $55 to my electric company to limp us along because this is a high paycheck, but this also come with bills, and then I paid too much in groceries to try to live a little good. Um, so what we're gonna see left is what I have for gas and living expenses. And when you say living expenses, it's really if you waste your money on anything. I bought a little something for myself and the household when I bought the remotes. They were $6 a piece. They came with my groceries. Um, but let's subtract $55, and now we should have $172.89. And if I don't buy anything this week, I have $172.89 for gas. Now, my gas should not cost that much. My gas may cost $30, okay? So let's go ahead and say we take $30 from this, and what's left is going to be $142.89. Okay? So let's take $142.89 in our banking app and let's put that in a separate savings. We don't want to put this in the Cash App savings. No, no, no. We are mentally aware of our Cash App savings. Everything in our regular savings, we want to transfer blindly. We want to not think about it. We want to put that money into savings without thinking about it, not a single time. Okay, so I'm going to transfer $142.89 into savings. Okay, so what did I just accomplish? I put back $100+ this week. What does that mean? Well, my next paycheck may not be $1,000. My next check may be $900. It may be $800. Okay, and yes, I get paid on the weekly, but I also have many, many more bills. So let's take a moment to add up all of my bills that I did not pay this time. All right, because I think this will scare some people. Okay. Um, so what I have is $142.89 that I saved, right? This week. What I also have to pay the rest of the month is 1,000 for rent plus 55 is my new cost for phone. Okay. Uh, Planet Fitness is an ass. They're gonna charge $25 shortly. That is gonna come out this week. Oof. That is gonna come out this week. That was a mistake. Planet Fitness is gonna come out. Um, we have to pay for the internet. We have to pay what I owe a law firm. We have to pay what I owe a medical firm. I have $1,340 of bills for the rest of the month. And then if you divide this by 3 weeks, I have to pay $446 per week, at least. So I am above water. I am above water, but this doesn't include electric. This doesn't include gas. This doesn't include groceries. Um, and if you say that I make $800 a week on average, and you spend almost $500 a week on bills, six, seven, eight. You have $300 ish to live off of every single week for electric, water, for gasoline, for if you have child support like I do, that doesn't get counted as your regular bills because they decided fuck you, that's your daughter, it doesn't matter. Um, and yet your baby mama is allowed to practically lose her home and go, help, help, I'm bad with my finances. I only spent $600 on weed this week. Um, yeah. So anyway, don't have babies, ladies and gentlemen. Because if you have a penis, you will be horribly, horribly dragged through the mud for someone else's financial instabilities. But half of each of my paychecks, at least, go to these things. And because not all of it comes out evenly, saving money, like I'm putting back 142, I'm sure that will become an issue when Planet Fitness wants their money. I'm certain. Um, I think I'm going to go to the Planet Fitness website and I'm going to change my card on file real quick because I haven't gone to Planet Fitness in a while. And they demand you show up in person to quit. And then when you do, they charge you like 60 something dollars to quit because it's a racket. I work very hard at my job. I sweat. I lift hundreds of pounds of tools on my back for 12 to 14 hours a day. nonstop in 2000 degrees. I don't need Planet Fitness anymore. But this is how you save money. This is how you save money. You take the extra that you're getting, you give yourself a very small portion you're allowed to spend, and you spend it. You treat yourself without using all of your money. I did that during the groceries by paying for the TV remotes. I told myself that'll make things nicer around the house. That's my gift to the house and to me this week. I think I might have spent $20 for all of those TV remotes. On the other hand, I'm putting back money towards the next week's bills. As long as you're putting back extra money every single week, all of them. There's 3 more weeks. So there's 4 weeks in a month. If you put back money every single week of the entire month, you have not spent more than your bills. Does that make sense? If you don't spend more than your bills, you will be okay. And as long as you don't spend that much and you are putting back even $5 a month, you will eventually be okay. It might be a very far off tunnel, but that is how you profit. That is how you get by. That is how you adult, ladies and gentlemen. It's not pretty. It's not nice. It doesn't sound good. $100, $5. They're not big numbers. I know everyone here wants to be able to put back $1,000 a week. It's not always possible. Like I'm VTubing, and you think, well, he'd surely make something. Yeah, I do. In the last 3 months, I made $1, and Twitch is going to take 50%, and then I pay taxes. So I have 50 cents minus taxes, and I'm only allowed to take that out when I hit $50. So 3 months gave me like $1. Can you imagine how long it would take for me to reach $50 and then only get $25 and then have to pay the taxes on that 25? The electricity alone that it costs me to stream is more than the money I'm making. Um, so you would consider this a deficit. I'm doing this for fun. That's why I can't afford a VTuber model. That's why I'm not buying a VTuber model right now. But staying above on your finances isn't about VTuber models. It isn't about VTubing. It's about blatantly how much money you're making and blatantly how much money you're able to put back when all of your bills are paid. Um, so I did sit down and kind of fudge some of these numbers ahead of time, and I did so for the sake of, not all of my business is everyone's business, but the math is still here, and the ratio of how much I'm paying is still relatively the same. The amount of money that I'm saving is still relatively the same, and my struggle is still very much there. I am a car breaking down from having nothing. I am my baby mama raising my child support from having nothing. I am an ER visit from not being able to pay uh, the creditors that are already chewing into my bank account. Um, which is why I am going to be avidly trying to save that $25 from Planet Fitness. I'm not worried about them taking it because I'm going to ensure they can't. um, that could be that could be considered a mean thing, but I cannot afford it. I know I can't afford it, and I work all the time. I'm not able to use their services. it's not benefiting me. So let's just stop pretending like I have to spend that money. I am far healthier from doing overtime at work and getting paid close to 50 something dollars an hour than I am in spending money to go to a place with a bunch of people that say if you start grunting, we're going to kick you out. Um, yeah, so I'd like to express that if you've ever had an interest in how to make it, that is the secret. The secret is more income than your outcome. You have to make more money than your bills. So, how do we do that? It sounds simple. It sounds like a mathematical equation, but how do you get that income to debt ratio? Well, you have two ways to accomplish that. Okay, you can make more money, which requires a number of things, and I will go down the list of that. But you can also have less bills, and we can go down the list of that. So the first option, which to me has always been the easiest one, is to simply make more money. Now, that is not the easiest for everyone, okay? But every job I've ever left, I made more money somewhere else. So, making more money, what does that entail? Well, so many people think that making minimum wage is appropriate. I'm sorry, this is a topic that has been debated since the very beginning. But if someone in high school can do the job with 10 minutes of training, it is not difficult. Okay? If someone can go out there and pick up how the job works in 12 minutes and with a car and a license, deliver food and make $2 in their hour of sitting around waiting for an order, you're not making money. You were paid $2 for an hour of your life. Then you spent oil, you spent gas, you spent insurance, you put wear and tear on your car. Take all of that from your $2 tip or your $5 tip, and you did not turn a profit. Okay? Let's say you work in a high traffic area and you're door dashing and you think you made $400 in 4 hours. Okay, well, there's 20 more hours in that day. Are you going to keep making money for 24 hours straight? How much money do you have to hold on to pay your taxes at the end of the year? Because they will come due. You will have to pay the taxes from the money that you're holding. You have to put that money back, actually. And when it comes due and you don't have it, well, fuck, that's a crime. You're not allowed to not have it. Um, but if you only make $300 today and you only make $300 Friday, that's 600. That's not 1,000. And you've wasted gas, and you've wasted insurance, and you've wasted on your tires, and you've wasted on your oil. It is not ideal. And then if someone hits you, you suddenly lose your job because you don't have a car. Okay? There's no one that can pick you up and drop you off at your job because your job requires your car. It's not stable, it's not reliable, it's not self sufficient, it's not trustworthy, and it involves math at the end of the year. Also, if the economy is so shit, people are not spending that much money. And if people aren't spending that much money, you're not getting as good a tip. You're not getting as many orders. You see how that makes you a slave to the economy itself? If you don't like Donald Trump and you think the economy is in the toilet, you do not need to be door dashing with your time. You need to be working at a actual location, pulling overtime to make your income. That's how you make more money. That's how you diversify your skill set and become worth more. Okay? Maybe you're working at McDonald's and you've been a fry cook for 2 years now. You've been flipping frozen burgers. Okay? Look, I love people. I do. I have a femboy harem. I don't know of anyone in my femboy harem that really makes good money, but I know some of them work. And this is a wake up call for them just as much as it is for everyone else. But if your income can be matched by someone who just got a car yesterday and was hired the day before, yes, ma. Yes, the femboy harem is included on this. I've had to have talks with people before about what to do with their finances while helping them out some. Uh, so, if someone can literally walk into the job today and make the same amount of money that you're making as their very first job with zero experience, they're not paying you for skilled labor. They're not. Thank you. I hope you're having a great day. If you're a cashier, I have news for you. Have you seen all of the little panels you go up to? They're in they're in Panera Bread, they're in Taco Bell, they're in McDonald's. You can walk up and you can pay for your order without ever talking to someone. All of these cashiers lost their jobs. They've been replaced by a tablet. Your job was not skilled. Your job was not necessary. Everyone was telling everyone a couple of years back, "Ha ha, learn to code. Ha ha, learn to code, bro." And now AI is taking over coding as well. And they're like, "Ah, AI is suddenly bad. AI is suddenly bad." No, it's not specifically that AI is bad. It is that your job is replaceable. You don't have a skill. It seems like Ma is probably gonna tell me that they're an artist and that they make you VTubing models. As people are aware from listening, Teresia is the VTuber model person that's going to be working on a model for me in the future. These things require someone to sit down and focus for hours at the time. That is a skill. That requires learning. That requires dedication and practice and understanding what you're doing. You're not going to see a 16-year-old buy a computer, sit down, and start VTubing and VTube model making all at once. No, 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 no. It requires time. So the part about making more money comes from having that skill. When I go to work, I weld two pieces of metal together. And when I weld those two pieces of metal together, they can withstand 7,000 pounds per square foot. When I go to work, I wire in electrical panels that handle 440, 460, 220, 110. I handle these volts. I do step downs where they change from, all of this voltage to 12 volts. They run through circuit breakers, they run through fuse boxes and panels, they run to relays, they run to 12-volt systems that run computers, inputs and outputs. We have a lot of shit going on, and you have to know what you're doing. You have to learn what you're doing. And that's why I make the money that I make. And then because it's a 2,000 degree factory making solid items a liquid, we have cooling systems to run these computers and these electronic devices. So we have to understand cooling. I have to know how to solder and deal with explosive chemicals that deal with cooling the air and the electronics, and then dehumidifying systems that keep these electronics cool and dry. So I am being paid for all of that information. I'm being paid because you can't get an AI to do that. I'm getting paid to do something other people don't want to do. If you are struggling because your income is low, make more money. Okay? That is the simplest and easiest of the two. Because once you have bills, it is very hard to just make them go away. Very hard. People will find you. People will charge you. People will threaten you with jail time if you don't pay certain bills. And once you ruin your credit, like my baby mama has me, if the car goes down, you can't just go get another one with credit because there is no credit. I am pinned. If I don't make the money that I make, I could end up in jail for not paying child support. Just very simple. Um, but the alternative of working extra hours, learning extra skills, and finding a direction to move up in a factory or in a skill based environment is cutting back your bills. So you can cut back bills. Some of them are like turning off electricity. If your computer idles every single day and you never turn it off because you like the wallpaper, can you afford to do that? If you can't afford to idle your computer all of the time and have it at the ready, it needs to be off more. My computer is only on mostly when I'm home. If I am not home, my computer typically does not run. There may be a time here or there where I let an update happen or I'm watching a download or something. And I'll use two different discords so I can see it on call and know that it's doing what it needs to do. Um, but I let the air condition run very relative to the temperature outside. I'm touching the air condition almost every day to make sure that it runs as little as possible and yet I'm still as comfortable as I can get for the price that I'm paying. If you need to conserve money and you get charged for your water, you might also get charged for sewage. This is just their way of charging you extra for your water. How do you stop this? Don't use water. But that doesn't make any sense. How do we just not use water? Well, here's one way, and if you can't move, I've done this before, and if you can't move, it does work. It's not nice, but if you are desperate, and I said that saving money is hard. It's easier to make more. When I lived in the worst place I had ever lived, I was paying $60 a month for water when other people were paying like $15. And so I filled a brand new trash can with water to the brim, a big giant outside rolling trash can with water. Okay? And then I took a sink bath. I took a little stopper and I plugged up the sink in my bathroom and I took a bowl and I filled that sink with water and soap and I took a bath with it once a day before work, not after, before work, so that when I went into work, I was the freshest. And I used the same water twice. I added soap each time and I tried to shit at work, I tried to piss at work, and then I came home
and I ate things that didn't require water, like, um, well, I had oodles and noodles, but I would take water at work and heat up my noodles and then bring them home that way, and then microwave them again just to get them warm. I would, get things like Beanie Weenies, and I would eat Beanie Weenies. I would try to not actually eat as much at home that anything that required water. Um, and in those 2 days that I had that water in the sink, if I did have to use the toilet, I would fill the water in the tank with water from the trash can or the sink. I would choose the sink first and then water from the trash can. And then I would refill the sink. Now, you probably first caught, oh, he's using the same bath water for 2 days straight. Well, when you end up flushing, you actually use a lot of water. So you inevitably end up with some fresh water. But I'm hanging on to that trash can full of water for pretty much the entire month, and I'm keeping an extremely close eye on it. And I end up only using half of it in 1 month. And a trash can full of water shouldn't be but maybe $60. Maybe at the time. But of course, then again, they charged me second time for the water running out of the house for sewer and septic. Um, so I was able to keep an eye physically on what I was spending and use less. Rooms in the house that I was not using, I turned the circuit breakers off. When I knew that the hot water heater was not attached to that breaker, I turned the circuit breaker off for everything but my bedroom and the bathroom. I didn't use the living room. I needed to be at work or asleep. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's true. If I needed light, I opened a window, the blinds on the window, to see during the day. If it was a severely important thing, I would put a light bulb in, and when I was done, I would take the light bulb back out and then turn off the breaker. There is something called electrical loss, which happens whether you're using electricity or not because it's charging the system. The whole house is charged with electricity. Shutting off the breaker saves you that much. It could be a penny a week. That's a penny you needed. I did say saving money was harder than making more. It was a struggle. Folks, I'm not lying here when I say this, and I hope Piggly Wiggly doesn't get mad at me because it has been more than 15 years. I'm pretty sure I'm past the statutes of limitations, but I used to see when cereal was out of date, and I would ask my manager, and he would let me throw the out of date cereal in the trash, double bag it. I wasted half a penny on an extra layer of trash bag and throw it out beside the dumpster. And instead of, putting it in the dumpster, it's beside the dumpster. And that night when we leave, I would go and get several bags of cereal. And I would eat cereal dry, and it would be a free meal. It would be a number of free meals because there's only so many ways to spend less money. And when I was working at Piggly Wiggly, I made minimum wage. Guess who else made minimum wage? A 65-year-old man who had been in the military. He had fought for this country. He had done grass cutting. He had worked in industrial applications, and he was tired. He had experience out the wazoo. He still only made minimum wage. These companies that pay minimum wage aren't paying you good money. There's no way out in that. And when I was there, the only solution was to spend less. And I opened my eyes at how hard it was to spend less, and I chose the easier option, make more money. A couple of other tips that I can give that still aren't good include knowing what you're doing. Again, this is only a tip if you know what you're doing. Do not do this to your landlord's uh, property. Do not do this to your property unless you know what you're doing. It might would be better to pay an electrician or a plumber. I don't care who. Don't do it yourself unless you freaking know what you're doing. I am not going to be held responsible, but I did take a screwdriver and dial down the temperature on my hot water heater to barely lukewarm. Like I could turn the hot water all the way on and run just hot water, and it was just kind of like, it's kind of warm because it would get that hot and stop heating, as opposed to boiling all of the time. And then I would turn it off when I went to work. So it's not heating all day while I'm at work for 12 and 14 hours on the ready for someone who's not there. Does that make sense? Because those are pennies on the dollar that you're spending when you're not home. Here's another trick that people cannot fathom. Don't have a pet. If you can't afford a pet, don't have a pet. I know. I got 20 femboy pets. I've got two lesbian pets. I've got people out there that depend on me for love and financial support and emotional support and guidance. And I take care of them in a number of ways and I protect them. If you can't afford an animal, I'm actually talking about a genuine animal: fish, lizards, dogs, cats. If you can't afford them, for the love of God, don't bring one home. Now you have to pay pet rent. Now you have to buy food for the dog. Now you have to buy a dog toy. Now you have to buy a scratching post. Now you have to buy lizard food and a container for the live crickets. And you have to pay out extra money for something to live that you can't afford. If you cannot afford it, don't have it. Okay. I have a jacuzzi. I turn the jacuzzi off quite a lot. I might turn it on and enjoy it for an hour, an entire month. So for 2, 3 weeks at the time, it's off. Why? Because it's heating up and staying hot at the ready every single day, nonstop. But there was a time when I couldn't afford to even own a jacuzzi sitting out there off because it costs money to buy to begin with. That's how you save money. That's how you spend less. Okay? So I can't suggest enough. The easiest way is to make more money. I'm as sorry as I can be about that, but make more money. We're going to have this aired on YouTube, and I will probably do another finance stream where I actually go into what you do to know that a company is going to pay you well, how to know what companies pay well, how to know what companies are right for you, how to know where you're going to make money or what the logic behind it is. We can go into those topics, but I need to know people want to know those things. I only have 3 viewers right now. One of them is my moderator, Zoxy. And as much as I love them, they're just lurking. It's not benefiting them much to hear me ramble about this. I have 2 other viewers. One might be Ma, who is either being adorably quiet and listening, or maybe they're not here. It's okay if they're here or if they're not. And the third one is probably myself, making sure that everything goes well on my phone. So the big number of people that this will help will be people watching from YouTube. If this helps you, or if this makes sense, please tell me in the comments below. If you want to hear more, please tell me in the comments below. Please go to Twitch and look up XX Master Spade XX. Follow me and let me know that you want to hear how to do more with your money. This is not life advice. This is not financial advice. This is legitimately what I'm doing to not be broke. I'm not acting as a financial advisor. I'm not acting as a legal advisor. I am purely acting as myself and telling you what I'm doing and how it might help you. You don't have to do any of it, and I don't suggest you do anything you don't know how to do. But I hope that this somehow jogs a spot in the back of your brain and motivates you to do what you need to do to prosper. Okay? DoorDash ain't it, cuz. DoorDash ain't it. Overtime pay is way more than DoorDash pay. If you already have a regular job, picking up a side gig as DoorDash is actually hurting you. Get overtime hours in your job. If you can't get overtime hours, pick up a second job in a actual job. Then if they offer you full time and it's more than the job you're already at, haggle. Find out which one will pay you more and find out if you can work with overtime money. Overtime money, at least in America, is time and a half. Sometimes it's triple time or double time. Sometimes it's triple time plus holiday pay. That is way effing better than making $5 on a food delivery where you've spent $2 in gas and you waited for an hour and a half to get that one freaking order. So, if you're interested in more information in the future, like and follow. Put down your information, what's my situation is. What should I do? What would I do in your situation? I can't give legal advice. I'm not a legal advisor. I can't give financial advice. I haven't been to college, but this is what I'm doing, and it's working. Twitch is not paying off, but Twitch is what I do in on the side because I want to. I want to be the greatest gamer ever, and I'm choosing to record it using Twitch. I want people to see. I want to achieve. I want to do, and it's going to be a slow lifetime crawl. But while I'm on my way there, I want to be good to the people around me, and I want to do good for the people around me, and I want to help as many people as possible. Not with genuine advice, but with an example. Your situation may not apply the same. Your situation may not fold the same way. Your piece of paper may not be the same size or have the same college rule dimensions. It may not have the same color ink on it. But the math is still going to work the same. You're either going to have to make more money than your bills, or you're losing money. And if you're losing money, you're going to have to make more money or have less bills. I'm done rambling for this one. I'm going to go play VR. I hope everyone's having a great night and maybe I've helped somebody. So if I have, comment below. If you just hate what I've had to say, just wish I'd shut up, comment it down below. But one thing is for sure, always remember, Master loves you.